Hi guys, it's been too long since we've last done one of these videos, but we're going to do something a little bit different today in these incredibly different times, and we're going to have a look at how to build a terrarium for free, which I know is completely different, but let's get into it. Let's have a look at how we bring a little bit of nature, some of that amazingness of the world, how we can have a look at a bit of that and bring some of that into our homes. And while we do that, we're going to have a talk about peace. So let's get into it. So yeah, guys, I just wanted to do something a little bit completely different today in these unprecedented times, and this is just going to be a little bit of a project that I've wanted to do for a while. And you can see here, you can see I've got all these little bits of nature strewn across my dining room table, and I just wanted to do something a little bit different. I absolutely love nature and the beauty that's in this world, and I really do get some kind of pleasure in taking a look at all that. So in the background, I'm just going to be kind of talking through some of this stuff that I'm doing. And you've already seen a few of the bits that I went out and collected. Me and my wife and my little boy went on a lovely walk in our local area, and we managed to find some absolute gems there. You know, these lovely stones here, and you already saw some of the bits of logs, bits of wood and fauna. And all I'm doing here is I'm just washing some of those stones. If there's anyone that's interested in doing this themselves, then take this as a bit of a kind of walkthrough on how to do it. So you kind of want to wash your stones, get that excess debris off. And what I'm doing here is I'm just cutting around this bit of like a plastic food bag that I use to collect the materials. Now all is going to become clear with what I'm doing here. What this is going to be like a barrier, and you can buy specific barrier things, but if you're wanting to do it for free like I am, then you can just use a bit of a bag. You can see me wiping wiping my desk there. I should have used a cutting mat for this. There's only a small mark on my desk. So what I'm doing is I'm just putting loads of little holes in that bit of plastic, and what that's going to allow for is for any moisture to drain through and go into the rocks that we're going to put at the bottom. And just while I'm kind of letting this play out, you guys can see what I'm doing. I really would encourage you guys to, certainly for myself, some of the stuff that I've experienced myself while we're in this period of lockdown, and even through my own work, the people that I've spoken to in my day-to-day job. You know, mental health is just such a big part of all of this, and it feels like, you know, the more time we spend sort of locked away indoors, the more and more that topic of mental health shows itself. And you know, me and my wife and the people I work with, it just seems to be all we talk about as we go through this unprecedented time. I will say quite quickly on this footage that you're seeing, I actually cut out a big chunk here. If you're following along with this and you're doing it at home, getting that plastic to sit on top of the rocks kind of flush was the most difficult part of having to do this. Oh, it was a nightmare. I cut out about 2 or 3 minutes of me just struggling to do it. So what I'm doing now is I'm just adding in the soil. Now, you know, I just found a big old pile of dirt and just grabbed some of it. And that's really what you want. You don't necessarily want fresh, clean dirt. If anything, you want something that's got some microorganisms in it, you know, some springtails or something like that. You want that you want this to be kind of like a bioactive setup, which really ties in with what we're talking about, you know, about mental health, about trying to find peace. For me, this is something that, you know, I can build this. I've got a little bit of the untouched world, and I know that doesn't really make sense because I'm making this scene. Yeah, I'm trying to fit a piece of wood which is far too big for this glass, but I really wanted to make it work because it had Java moss on it, and I really wanted to try and make that work, but it just did not work. But for me, yeah, this really is a way to kind of have a little bit of the outside world, a little bit of just nature come into my house. And I really have found such a big connection with that lately, with the kind of natural world, the earth, with this creation that we've got, and really have sort of found some peace with that, you know. For me, that has just been so important for kind of keeping me, I guess, rooted is the best word for it, actually. Keeping me rooted. And here you can just kind of, I'm just going to shut up for a minute and just let you take a look at this hardscape and what we're working with. So that's kind of just the basis of what we're working with, and then we're gonna build more into it. Now you can see I've taken some bark off that bigger piece of wood that wouldn't fit. That's because it had some really nice Java moss on it that I really wanted to kind of build in. I don't know if it's gonna take. I really hope it does. I really hope it takes and it grows and it flourishes. Now this is where my knowledge starts to fade away a little bit, because I know I've got 3 different types of moss in here, but I only know the name of the Java moss, and you can see I've just added in something different. If you know what that is, you can see it in my hands there. If you know what that is, please just put it in the comments. I did do a little bit of research before I went out, but I've completely forgotten what it is I actually put in this scene. So if you do know and you want to share that, then by all means just pop it down in the comments. So there I'm putting my Java moss in, and you can see as well I've got some bits of bark which I'm going to put in, and I've still got some stones left over that I'm going to kind of use to accent certain bits, and I've got some other little bits. I've got some pine cones as well, which I pop in there. So, you know, when we talk about this idea of peace, and particularly when we're talking so closely about this world and this world that, you know, that God has put us in and God has made, you know, it really just sometimes it's very easy to get lost. You know, we struggle sometimes with the uncertainty of these times and struggling with the day to day. But you know, I was reading through some verses just to kind of, funnily enough, to help me try and find that grounding, you know. And I was just kind of drawn to John 16. Verse 33, where we're told, I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, for I have overcome the world. And I just really found the comfort in that, you know, that so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, and how true is that for this time? Yeah, in this world you will have trouble, and it feels like we're kind of collectively all together we're going through this this trouble, yeah, together. It's something that we're all experiencing, and we're just seeing how the world itself is reacting to that. But we've got this clear message at the end of the verse. But take heart, I have overcome the world. In Christ, we have someone who has risen above all of this, yeah, who is our ultimate end, you know, who has put all of these things in place in this world. And I think even though it is so difficult for those of us that are just sat at home, you know, just waiting to be sort of released, there's maybe a real opportunity there for us to kind of have an introspective look at ourselves and maybe just see what is it that we can take from this experience. Yeah, what is it that we can do? You know, and speaking from my own experience, you know, and from the experience of mine and my wife's, you know, this has been a great opportunity for us to actually spend some solid sort of time together as a family, to really spend some time together, to show each other some support. It's certainly been a wonderful opportunity for me to spend some real time with my son, you know, obviously because we all have work to go to. So, you know, if you're in the household and you're watching this and you have to go out to work every day, this can be a real blessing to be able to take a step away from your work, to take a step away from your desk, to walk right on into the living room and give your family some love and get some support from them when you're having that difficult day. And for me, that's just been a real experience. And, you know, further to that, I think it gives us some time, definitely, to pick up those hobbies, you know, that we've never done before, to really discover some of the gifts that we've been given. Now, I will make a comment on this bit of the video. I really wanted this feather to work, and I wasn't a massive fan. I really wanted it to work, but I knew if I couldn't make it fit, I would just have to leave it. And I felt like I was nearly there. Like it looked really cool if I could just get it in the right place, but it just didn't work. And sometimes that's the way. Sometimes we try and make these things work, and it doesn't. But you know, we just got to carry on, you know. So right here, I'm just misting. I'm just spraying the inside of the terrarium. I wish I had a pipette to do this. I could have just added the water straight to the substrate, and it would have been perfect. But you gotta work with the tools that you've got. And I had the spray bottle. If you're gonna do this, use dechlorinated water. Now, if you don't have dechlorinated water, the whole point is to be able to do this for free. So what I did was I picked all of this stuff the day before building. So that night, I just left some water out on the side, and then I put it in this jar. I just gave that water like a solid 8 hours, just to let all of the any of the chemicals in, you know, the chlorine just evaporate off. Likewise, if you've got any charcoal just lying around the house, I mean, I do, but I know a lot of people don't. But if you have got any charcoal in the house, then you know, you just drop that straight in the water for 8 hours, and then you'll get yourself some nice dechlorinated water. And there you go. And I've corked it. Now I'm some of you guys may have done this before. You may know how to make a good terrarium. I do not. This is the first time I've done it. So I've just left the cork in. I pressed it down really hard. I'm hoping that works. I'm a bit nervous that the moisture is going to evaporate up into the cork and it's not going to form a solid seal. I'm just going to have to come back to that. And there you go. And that's it. That's it. So guys, I really thank you for joining me with this. You know, it's been really fun to make this video. I hope that you guys can take something away from this rambling. You know, I hope that you guys, I pray that you guys will just find some peace at this time, and that you'll fall back and you'll just rely on what you know. And for me, that's God. And I really pray that you find some peace and something to hold on